Well, welcome everyone to our fifth and final day of this online version of the Catalyze Peacebuilding Pilgrimage. It's been awesome to have you all, and we are super excited for tonight's speaker, Friar Ivo Marković. And so I don't want to take too long with an introduction, but he has been highlighted in a book called Peacemakers in Actions. You can look that up. And part of his story that it shares there is even coordinating with other religious leaders and walking across battle lines in order to broker ceasefires. He's also incredibly well known for starting the interreligious choir Pontanima, which is still active, and I've had the pleasure of listening to a few times, and is amazing, breathtaking, and inspiring. And so Ivo has an incredible depth of personal experience and theological and practical wisdom to share with us, to share with so many. And so it is such a blessing that he can be with us here this evening, here in Bosnia, this morning in some parts of the States. And we're looking forward to hear more from him. So Ivo, we're looking forward to hearing parts of your story and anything that is on your heart to share with us this evening. You have the floor.
So thank you for introducing me. I greet you all, and I hope you will have a very fine time with me. Thank you, Brian, for inviting me. I feel privileged to speak to you. And I would start with share one very small video clip made of Tannenbaum Center in New York.
I didn't expect war in Bosnia. I was engaged in peace making before the war, and there were so many good people in former Yugoslavia. But war exploded. Peacemaking, reconciliation first is healing of people. We have to heal wounds of the people. My father was killed, my relatives were killed, the house destroyed. And in the first moment of pain, I asked myself, am I crazy working for peace? Instead, I should go have people and buy for them weapons to protect these people. But in prayer, I saw the evil that killed my father. Not concrete people, evil. I have to fight against this evil. So I think I could transform this pain and negative energies in work for peace. I organized singing in the church, but there were no singers. Then I invited Muslims, Orthodox, atheists, Serbs, come and help me. In some months already we had a very special choir with challenging idea that we sing symphony of religion together, Judaism, Islam, Catholicism, Latin languages, so that one excellent symphony. And it was a very inspirational and moving project. I think that was a very, very good example of use of art, of spirituality for healing and reconciliation. That was my mission. People come to me, I would like to have faith. I don't have faith. I say to people, go the road of peace, of compassion, of goodness, and you will experience grace. My name is Ivo Marković. I am Bosnian Franciscan peacemaker.
So we are back. I like this definition of me, peacemaker. Really, I think that it is most important, that determinant of my person. I am peacemaker, I like it. And now I would like to confess to you how I became peacemaker. I think there are two most important things. First of all, it is the year 1986. It is a year of highest point of conflict between generations. young people in that time didn't want the world their parents leave to them, and they protested. It was a very strong movement. I think this year was more, in the 20th century, more important than 2 wars. So it was very strong. What happened then? Start to exist peace movement. Just in that time, there was war in Vietnam, terrible conflict between NATO and Warsaw Pact, production of weapons and so, and young people felt we have to learn, solve all our problems without violence, without wars. We have to educate ourselves to solve all our problems through negotiations. It is first peace movement. Second, it was woman movement, feminine movement that we had the patriarchal civilization where the practically women were lived in slavery of our men, and then we started to build so equality between men and women. And third level of this turning point, 1968, was care for creation, for nature, for life. These 3 movements were very, very strong movement, and I participated in this movement. First, this movement was expressed in music. We sang Beatles. It was one symbol of our war. All young people, also me, we sang these songs of Beatles. So that was a very strong inspiration for all people. And second, what influenced on me that I became peacemaker is the Second Vatican Council. I'm Catholic Franciscan, and it was very important happening, this council. What most important points of the council is, the first one is Catholicism became multicultural. We had Catholic Church, Latin Church, European Church. Now the Church opened itself to all cultures in the world. It is first level. Second one is Catholic Church was exclusive. Only Catholicism experienced itself as a right religion. All other religions were excluded. Now there was published Nostra Aetate, one document of Second Vatican Council, in relation to other religions. Just shortly to explain to you what is it. The Catholics, Christians, believe that Jesus is only Savior, and that other people become saved, they have to become Christians. And what happened in Second Vatican? It is looked from perspective of human perspective. But during Vatican Council, the church started to look from God's perspective. Jesus didn't come only because of Christians, but because of all people. Because of all people. And the Catholic Church started to embrace all religions. That is now we cooperate, we work together with all religions. It was more inclusivism. All religions produce products of faith, and all religions are road to God. That was a very, very strong turning point of Catholic Church. And what was also then important, the second level was aggiornamento. Catholic Church started to become a modern, contemporary church and so. And what was also important personally for me, I'm Franciscan. And Franciscan spirituality is very strong spirituality. First of all, our spirituality is practical spirituality. We try to imitate Jesus. For me, most important theologian of our time was Dietrich Bonhoeffer, one evangelical pastor. Shortly defined his theology is, what would Jesus do now in my place? That was my personal experience. So we Franciscan always try to live with people, follow needs of people, answer to needs of these people. And so it is a very inspirational moment. So that first, what on this level inspired me was discovery of non-violence of Jesus Christ. In Catholic Church, it was forgotten. Non-violence of Jesus Christ. They were teaching, for example, of Augustine, St. Thomas Aquin. They taught about just war, using of violence, death penalty, and so. And then we started to discover that essence of Jesus' teaching is non-violence. That was very important discovery. Also, then I started to communicate, especially with these peace churches, with Mennonites, so with many other churches in the world and so. So it was my formation. My formation of as a peacemaker. Also, something what was very important for me, it was in the time I said we listened very much to music, and also I personally I played in one rock group. We had one rock group. We played very strong hard rock because religious music in that time was very tender, very naive. We wanted to have very strong words and music. So, and we asked poets to write texts, to write fine music. Also, I composed music. And we started to use mostly literature, Bible. So texts of poets, first of all, of Croatian poets and so. And now I may show to you some pictures. You see here me when I was student. So also I will show to you something different. Just a moment. So here is a little bit about, I think it is very important. We published, my group, one LP with the name, Who is That One Who Loves Unknown Me? So mostly there were texts from poetry, from Bible, and this it had very strong influence in former Yugoslavian spiritual music. And what is interesting, all these songs practically were peace songs. And when we asked a communist to give permission to publish this LP, it was forbidden. And they explained to me that pacifism is very dangerous for youth in communism because they have to educate youth in communism, and they have to educate them for hate against enemies. Just how to come back, just a moment. And then I explained to them what we doing. I explained to them that our country for dialogue. So it was very interesting then the conflict between the pacifism of this education of communists and our point of view. So later we had to go to Zagreb to publish our CD. So so that is something, a little bit history of my peacemaking. Now, already in 1980 years, practically I would say, very ripe in my peacemaking, and then started very dangerous intuition that comes very dangerous time. Tito died 81, and we had intuition that comes very dangerous time. Then I started to work directly for peace in different organizations, in contact with the peace movement in Europe. So I traveled very much to Europe, and we organized also different peace group in former Yugoslavia, trying to enable that all our conflicts in former Yugoslavia solved by negotiations to escape the war. I have to recognize I was 100% sure that we will escape the war. So many peacemakers were in former Yugoslavia, but war exploded. It was a terrible experience. Only something probably you heard for Medjugorje. That people experience the visions of Holy Mary, Mother of Jesus Christ. And I was there in 1991. I gave a small interview for Newsweek from New York. And then I said there that it is interesting why people come there. There are special needs of people. And I think it was this, later I found, it was this intuition, come very dangerous time. And people need in place of God. It was later very clear that people experiencing a little bit fear of dangerous happening are coming. And in my opinion, it was this Medjugorje. When war started, I said that was a terrible time. Then I traveled very often to Europe, visiting different countries, governments, peace organizations, trying to stop our war. I was very strong engaged, but so I think I contributed a little bit to, I was expelled from Sarajevo to Zagreb, and in Zagreb I worked in one information agency, so that many journalists, many people from different religions, churches came from all over the world, and I have opportunity to give them information, what was happening here. So that I think my influence then was very strong. And one very important mission was in 1995. We understood that only Americans can stop our war. In Germany, in France, England, Russia, they were on the side of the Serbs. Other Europe, especially Germany, were on the side of Bosniaks and Croats. So only they deepened the war. And then, because I had many contacts with religious United States, I traveled to the United States 1 month, visiting different religions and trying to compel Clinton's administration to come and stop our war. It was very important mission. I met more congressmen. Also, I spoke a little bit to Clinton, to many mayors, universities. I was also in one TV mission, 60 Minutes, very important mission, where I was asked, are you for shelling, for bombing, for shelling Serbia? I said yes. And then the question was, how you, as a follower of Jesus Christ, non-violence of Jesus Christ, you would like to use weapons to stop the war in Bosnia? Then I said, I asked this man, are you God? This was my question. You behave as God. You have in hands people's life of the people in Bosnia. 9 people, just the Serbian units come and kill people. And then I said, I'm not for killing Serbs, but for destroying their weapons, their arsenals of weapons. So I think that my vision, my mission then in the United States was very important. So I think a little bit it contributed to involving of United States to stop our war. So that is how I worked in the war. After the war, I came just after the agreement. I came to Sarajevo, and then you know, Bosnia was extremely destroyed. People suffered. And then I looked at for the projects. How to heal. You know, it was not only my personal mission, my Franciscan order from Rome and also my province asked me to start some projects in Bosnia using Franciscan Christian spirituality to heal and reconcile people. And I started many projects. So I was in contact with many people, also peacemakers, different in Bosnia. Among other projects, I started this choir Pontanima, inviting people from all religions to sing one symphony of religions. It was a very successful project. You see, next year we celebrate 25 years of our, you see here this choir, 25 years. In Pontanima, in these 25 years, sang more than 700 people. We had more than 700 concerts. We visited practically many countries in the world. So it was very inspirational project, also with very strong message, also not only for Bosnia, for our world. And something why the echo of this mission was so strong, because you see, I think in this choir we sang practically future. We anticipate future. What will happen in next 20, perhaps 20 years? Now we realize in music. When in one choir we sing Judaism, the special religious paradigm, image of God, then Orthodoxy, heavens, Christianity, then Islam, very strong surrendering to God, then Catholicism. And so when you put it in one concept together, you see that all these religions are so different and so near. And that is something what I think our concerts give one intuition that religions must more cooperate. All religions today experience that we have to cooperate, but have fear of cooperation. Now in music gives people something intuition, something encouragement that they can go with more courage to cooperate. So that is something about my development to become peacemaker, and I think it is enough now. We could continue through conversation. I hope that you understand me. If you something didn't understand, please, I may to explain to you. Excuse my English is not my English. I learned my English is visual, not so audio, and I didn't speak. So some last weeks I didn't speak English, and now I was not so good. But I hope you understood me. Is it okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivo. This was fantastic. So everyone, I'd love to invite you as well, just like with our other speakers, to think about different questions that you have. Feel free to press the little hand icon so that we can call on you, or to write a question in the chat. And then we'd love to hear more of your thoughts in response to the things that the participants are curious about. from my perspective, I'd love to even ask, just, you reference a lot the use, both your inspiration by, but also the use of the arts. Could you talk about maybe what has inspired that shift away from perhaps something that's more just about words and dialogue, or about other types of programs, and towards the use of the arts, or maybe the power in using the arts?
Yeah, so it was because I really from beginning I was very much involved in art, and I think I experienced the power of art. And today people forget the power of art. I may just shortly explain to you what is art, in my opinion. The essence of art is excursion. Go out from everyday life. You see, the religion, art, and sport are very similar on this level. If you play, you go on play yard. And can you imagine when you go and play yard, you become new human being with your new passions. You surrender to play. And you discover something very different yourself and people around, and sport has very strong influence on the life. The same when you go in the church, in the mosque, to pray. It is excursion. And can you imagine what one believer experiences singing during prayer and comes back in the life? So it is in anywhere. If you listen to music, you go in music hall, and so that is so. For example, when people comes on our concert, during our concert of Pontanima, not only that we take people out of life, of everyday life. During our concert, there will by people become created one imagination. We say in our Bosnian language, charolia. Imagination, very strong imagination, which lasts also when we go out of our concert. And we forget this, how long this imagination lasts in us. It is power of spirituality, of sport, of religion, and of art. So that is, I think, that is why I insist that art and sport also. We worked also very much with sport here, with music in reconciliation. Amra knows that we brought different rock groups to Belgrade, Zagreb, Budapest, Montenegro, that young people from all countries come and sing music. You see, that is the very important reconciliation. Or also, for example, this market in North Bosnia, Arizona, that people from all these countries, from Croatia, Bosnia, and from Serbia, can come to make market, to come in contact. This is very strong for reconciliation. So that is Brian something about the power of art. If you may recommend very important literature about this art, I think one Huizinga, one author from a psychologist and historian from Netherlands, he wrote a book, Homo Ludens, playing human being. It is this explanation about art. Also very important for me also is German writer Bertolt Brecht. His communist revolution, the goal of art is revolution. For us in religion, the goal of art is conversion. You see, that is, and also one German philosopher, Gadamer, that is exclusion from life. His book, Truth and Method, I recommend it. Something if you like to deepen your knowledge about art, sport, and religion. So.
Friar Ivo, we have here mostly people who are really religious, and we during this week we speak a lot about relations between institution and individual believer. And I remember in the beginning of my peace work when I was very disappointed how Islamic community and Catholic and Orthodox Church are not active in peace building. How you actually told me we have to show them a way, we have to lead them where to go. Uh, that, can you say more about that? How you think that individual can influence its own community or church?
Yeah. First, to explain what is faith. Faith is, you see, we live in a world of violence, of power. So that is a war of negative war, hate, and so that is nature of our world. But revelation, that God's come fully from different road, from different side, from goodness, not power, from love. So that is, and so in our practical life, we can live power, this survival of our world, but also we can go on other side and live goodness, full love, that other being is more important for me than myself. If we go do it, it is, I call it practical transcendence. And if you do such goodness, I think you go in grace. You can be atheist, but if you go this road of goodness, already you experience a little bit grace. I think grace is very easy to experience. Just try to live this this altruism, goodness, positive, be positive, and so. That is, I think, faith. And all people, atheists, from different religions, in my opinion, I experience all of them are believers. And now, for what is very important for faith, we can't live faith in our person. For our faith, we need other people. Faith is love. For love, we need other people. Also, for faith, we need other people. When I now confess my experience of faith to, for example, Samia, Muslim, and so, already we are a religious community. Very often I speak with my brothers, sisters, Muslims, and also atheists, and I see that we, on the level of personal experience, are extremely near. That is a religious community. Community is an environment of faith. People who experience a community and come together. Problem is now institution. If we have community, for community we need room, we need organization, we need money. It is institution. And that is always, many theologians say that Jesus, for example, didn't have idea of institution, only of community. Problem is when one institution comes to exist and there is needed money, organization, leadership, interest, and practically this reciprocity is always. How institution is stronger, faith is weaker. That is dangerous of institution. And one atheism in Christianity, I can't remember the author, there is one book, Atheism in Christianity. We can find in highest level of religious institutions, full atheism. In Catholic Church, you see, for example, McCarrick, this bishop from the United States, cardinal. He was fully atheist. He had sexual relations with boys, terrible. But so was powerful in Catholic Church. So we can find in all religions, in different levels of religions, especially if religions are as institutions involved in politics. We had terrible examples in Bosnia that many religious leaders were very bad witness of faith. So that is for religions very, very important. So Islam is in better situation because Islam doesn't have so much institution. Islam always practically tries to live in an environment of community. But again, for example, Reis Ulema in Bosnia, it is not the Islamic institution. It is institution organized of Austria. That so now, for example, President of France is trying to organize Muslims there, that to have institution for communication with Muslims in France, because they are very different and not organized, for example, as Catholic Church. So, Amra, did you understand me?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have a very upset child. Amra or Orhan, do you want to take over so then whenever I jump in, there's not screaming potentially in the background?
No problem. Okay. Friar Ivo, we have other questions for you. Kaže, imamo jedno pitanje koje se odnosi na muziku I muslimane. Kaže, I was wondering how Bosnian Muslims generally feel about music. Did you, in many parts of the world, especially the conservative Muslims, tend to be anti-music? Because of this, it can be hard to involve Muslims in music-related projects. Pa da komentaršete kako je bilo vaše iskustvo spontanim u muslimanima.
You know, Islam is a very, very big religion. It is more than 1 billion of people. And they are so different cultures, so different experiences, music, so different type also of Islam. There are countries, for example, I was in Jordan, and I tried to find their music. They said we have only singing of Quran, nothing. But in Egypt, you can find one tribe, it's only singing as gypsies by us. For example, very strong music has Pakistan, on India, so also European countries, France, Sweden, they are also, so that music in Islam, and especially you see this Sufi music, which had a very strong influence on Balkans, on Bosnia. And especially the Muslims in Bosnia, we have so-called Sevdalinka, and also religious music, ilahiyas. So in my opinion, Islamic music is really the best religious music. You see, so the Islamic music is ilahiyas are so deep surrendering to God. I would like to sing the Islamic music in the church. You see, I have this choir, Pontanima, and we sing in the church during the Mass without problems. We sing Jewish language, Orthodox, Buddhistic, we sing. But if we will sing Islamic music song, it is terrible. Just one example. Once our cardinal had the Mass in St. Anthony Church in Sarajevo, and Pontanima sang. And before the Mass, I asked him that we sing one song in the heart of the Mass after communion for meditation. And it was one Islamic ilahia, "O come, my dearest." And when he saw the text, Cardinal said, "Oh my God, so beautiful text. I recommend after the communion, let us sing and only meditate during your singing." Okay, fine. I said, fine. Then I said, it is ilahia. He said, oh my God, oh, no. You see what is the relation between Islam and Christianity. We can use any song, atheistic song in the church, but Islamic we can't. And my goal is that we sing already. I do it some, but openly we can't take so beautiful Islamic music and sing it in the church. But I hope I'm working on it. We will do it. So that is, and also what is something more for you, Amra. In Pontanima we engage composers. Many composers wrote for us. Also, we arranged many ilahiyas. Also, we sing polyphony. Many say Islamic is only unisono singing. No, there are so many polyphony in all over the world, in Islamic world. And but the problem is that Islamic composers in Sarajevo, you see, they don't know what to compose, how to compose. I said to them, just take one word, Allahu Akbar, or something, one word, La ilaha illallah, compose it. We have, for example, composition, Alleluia, repeating Alleluia 5 minutes. You know, Alleluia, it means Al is glory, El, glory to God. The same meaning is of Alleluia as Allahu Akbar. And there is one song, English song, Alleluia. My recommendation, perhaps we will sing it instead of Alleluia, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It sing 5 minutes. You know, so that is so that is my approach to music, and we work very much on this level. Am I very angry on composers, Islamic composers in Sarajevo, that they are not so creative in Islamic music spirituality. I expect more compositions that we sing spontaneously. Also, we sing many, we had Islamic concert, but I would like, for example, to have Islamic oratorio, something big. Also, I try to engage poets and the composer to cooperate to make one oratorium, for example. So Amra.
Imamo dalje.
Mm-hmm.
We have more questions. Brian, do you want to take over or I should continue?
You can keep going.
As someone who has been working in peace building for an extended amount of time, what keeps you going? How do you not get burned out of this or discouraged in how much work there still is?
Yeah, that is, we live really in difficult world, so very in pessimistic world, you know, we have very dark perspective, so many tensions in the world, now this pandemic, conflicts, wars, we have practically 30, 40 wars in our world, and also problems are on all sides. And I think that people generally in the world is very pessimistic. And I feel that mission of religious people is give people hope. Hope is only one name for faith. Faith, love, and hope are practically very similar. It is, in my opinion, who has real faith, real hope, real love? It is the Spirit of God, of God's grace. So, and in Pontanima, for example, sometimes people say we work so much for peace. Where are results? You know, and then I try to open eyes to the people. See that the result, we have to see results. And for example, I made a small investigation. I traveled to Bosnia and asked meeting people, did you hear for Pontanima? No, but on TV, there is one choir singing music of different, oh yes, I listened to it. You see, this echo, you see, there is influence. We have to have more faith in our positive work. If we do something positive, it lasts. We have to have very strong faith that all goodness we do, that it brings results. Evil is self-destructive. It can't last. I remember when Trump was elected in the United States 4 years ago, many of my friends in the United States were disappointed. And then I wrote them, it can't last. You have to believe that it can't last. Now, Trumpism is very strong, but it can't last. We have to believe only positive work, and anywhere now in Europe, what is happening, new fascism and so, but we have to do positive work. And that is, I think, mission of us, especially of us believers, to give hope to the world. I like if you read, for example, messages of good believers, Pope or Reis Ulema, this new Reis Ulema in Sarajevo. Their messages are full of hope, of goodness, of that orientation to future. But you have religious leaders always. I have bad example. Cardinal Pulic always spoke how Catholics and Croats are endangered in Bosnia. I'm Croat Catholic, I'm not endangered. Don't speak about endangerment. Speak about life together, about perspective. So that is, I think that is, Amra, I don't have personally, I thank to God that I have very fine faith. If I have faith, I have hope. And sometimes I'm tired, but not disappointed. Yeah. Amra.
Good, excellent. Okay, we go on next question. I will read you. I don't understand this question. I mean, my problem because of English, but I'm sure you will, Friar Ivo, understand.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Where do you often start with a new person or group currently hostile or closed off to the other, under the quotation mark?
May you a little bit translate? I didn't understand it.
I also don't understand. Brian, can you translate it?
For groups that are, or individuals that are hostile to peace work, that are opposed to getting to know the other, how do you begin with them?
When one group is hostile, how he start to work with them?
Yes.
So I think I think that I personally developed this skillfulness during my peace work. You know, when we meet different people, especially people who don't like us, people has fear. That is, fear is more dangerous environment for human being. And if you see people in front of you in any type of fear, just make communication, smile, greet people. You know, that is very important. In the war, for example, I was in a situation, can you imagine, we traveled through Bosnia and we visit, for example, Muslim soldiers or Serbian soldiers with gun. What we do first smile, how are you? And that is, I think, communication here. Always communication to make communication. To greet people just normally. To greet, especially first of all, you have to have in mind, I must not be in an environment of fear. be positive, be open, greet people, and start communication. So just this simple, fine question: how are you? How do you do? And then it is very important if people are enemies. With strong enmity is invite people to speak, to listen to their suffering, to listen to the people. You know, listening is extremely important. We have to have in mind that if you have personal problems, you can't ponder about yourself, your problems. You think about your problems only when you speak your soul, yourself to other person, to your friend. That is very important. And then someone in so terrible environment of enmity start to speak to you. That is blessing. That already friendship. Among young people, for example, you boys, so I say to boys, if one girl comes to you and speak to you about yourself, it means that she loves you. That is a sign of love. When someone speaks to other person, it is a love. Amra, do you?
I agree totally. It's wonderful, wonderful. Okay, next question. Can you talk a little about how you understand Jesus and nonviolence teachings? For example, the teaching about turn the other cheek. How would you apply or other teachings of Jesus regarding nonviolence in a situation like a war?
Yeah, Jesus was really nonviolent, but we think that nonviolence is to be weak. No, Jesus was very strong human being. You see, just this, if someone tries you, by Jews, kako se kaže, šamariti, Amra.
To shame.
Yeah, the masters always were behind someone, and they would strike people from behind. This is a right cheek, and from behind they strike me, and then Jesus turn other. It means turn to the violent people, turn to him and say, why do you strike me? You see, Jesus is very active, always was active. What he said to these Pharisees very strongly, without very openly spoke, also to the Romans and so that nonviolence is very courageous and very strong involvement in solving conflicts, to tell people normally with through acceptance. So that you know, if you have in mind that you can solve all problems without violence, then it is already a very good solution. And you know what is here important, this everyday practice of life. If you meet people and look at people, people see in your eyes, so that see trust. So I think if we analyze Jesus' meeting with other people, all people who met Jesus, they felt in front of him that they have chance, acceptance. That is always, not only by Jesus. If we meet very good persons, always we feel very relaxed in front of these people. And always people ask where this spirituality comes from to these people. And then I think in meeting with Jesus, people didn't speak to people. Always he helping people, he worked with people. But I saw in him, in his personality, his connection with God. His experience, how he spoke and worked from this strength of connection with God. I think that is by Jesus very important. So Jesus was very active, non-violent, and this resistance, passive resistance, very strong by Jesus was. We have many examples in Gospel. How to, in bad government, what to do, cooperate or not cooperate. We have by Jesus many stories that this passive resistance, not accept to cooperate in evil, but find, always we can find solution, and also sometimes it is suffering, must be, and Jesus was ready to suffer. Yeah. So.
Okay. We have more question. What was one of your first big learning moments when you realized a key point of part of peacemaking? Perhaps a learning through a failure moment.
Learning? Repeat.
What was one of your first big learning moments when you realized a key point of peacemaking? Perhaps a learning through failure moment.
I think it was very early when I was young, a student. Then I discovered the importance of peace, especially in music of Beatles. You know, I was not satisfied with the religions, with spirituality by Christians generally. You know, when I was young, I lived in one triumphalistic Catholic church, which was not a very good witness of faith. And then I looked for spirituality in literature, in outside of the church, for example, by Beatles. I wrote, I remember when I was young and crazy, I wrote one article about music, and I said the best Christian song composed in 20th century is Let It Be of Beatles. It is just a religious song. When I find myself in time, Mother Mary comes to me. Here Mary is not mother of Paul McCartney. It is not also mother, but here mother is feminine, tender side of God. Mother Mary comes to me, God, tender God. You see, I find that is the best spiritual song, religious song composed in 20th centuries. So we all sang, for example, all people in the world, give peace a chance. All we are saying, please give peace a chance. You see, that is, I think that was something, if you analyze what is peace movement, that is most deepest feeling of life of my generation. Peace. It is, we have to live in peace, not in war. You know how strong this energy was in young people. When I was in army, I had problems. For example, when in army taught me, if I in the battle, my colleague is wounded, my two colleagues are wounded, I have to help this who is not so much wounded. Other let to die. So I did. So I think I felt as fundamental feeling of my life, of my spirituality, this peace, and not me, my generation. And also I think you young people, you now in front of me, deepest feeling of life by you is peace. and equality among women and men, and also protection of all life. We have this primitive anthropocentrism that human being is center of the world. Now, creation, life is center of the world. I think that is just feeling of life, and it is present. I'm very happy that I had a very strong this feeling from beginning. And also it is something lasting, it is part of me. And not of me, I think it is very strong in human being of our world, anywhere. So
That's great. Also, somebody asked how to dodge institutions. Kako izbjeći?
how to, we can't escape of institutions. We live in the world, there must be institution. And you see institution, always there is corruption. You see power, institution, regardless is it religious institution, there is corruption. I know in my Catholic church, so terribly corruption that politicians come to religious leaders before elections. Now we had elections, and you can see not only by Catholics, by other religions, Muslims and Orthodox people, politicians visit religious leaders, give them money, and then they repair houses. It is corruption, you see. If someone from one party comes to me and gives me money, where come this money? Where did come this money come? From corruption, you see. And we live in such world. We just and what is now? It is social life, social struggle. We have to be engaged in our world. There is democracy, very important democracy, that we have freedom of speech, freedom of investigation. So that is all standard for struggle in life. I find the democracy is most important because of these freedoms to speak, to investigate, so so we can keep one society, any group healthy. If not, there is corruption. There is corruption. It is just yeah, fight.
Brooke asked, how can we get our hands on your beautiful LP? Your song, you recorded it, what he showed us the cover too.
Yeah, so I have this music. If you like, you can write me. I can send it to you. So that's especially if you know our language. It is very beautiful songs. Very beautiful songs. I will be so big as one owned, and no one will invite me army or against my brother, and this mostly peace songs, very beautiful songs. And what I like, I think this CD, so it is this LP has special strong words. When we had one concert in Zagreb, and one boy came to me and said, you are first Christian group singing songs that I can take this song and sing in the square in the Zagreb, and no one will look at me as ridiculous. So we had really one very fine spirituality in our songs. So yeah.
Ivo, Samia sent you a message. She said, Ivo, I hope you will check out this Islamic hymns music album. One of my friends, Ani, made it. It is a very beautiful example of Islamic music adapted to American European culture. Brian will send you this link so you can listen, Ani, Samia's friends.
So yeah, I cooperate with many musicians, Islamic musicians, composers from Canada, from United States. So I know very much about the music. So I have it, but always I'm open to have it and perhaps also to sing it in Pontanima. Yeah.
Oh, there were a lot of questions. I think we are done. Please, Brian, if you can write Friar Ivo email in the chat box, and that people can write to him asking for some songs or something.
We will definitely be including the emails from all the different speakers, and so we're going to be, in addition to the recordings, we will have email addresses for contact, and we'll make sure that everyone has the ability to contact them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have somebody here writing to me that I forgot one question. Friar Ivo, please answer this question too. I have been thinking about the work of formation for peace building or peacemaking. How do you think about this? How do we form peace builders? Is peace building a process or formation? What does that look like? What do we need to unlearn and learn or practice in order to be formed as a peace builders?
So always in spirituality, we have to always have on one side spirituality, on the other side be involved in practice of life. And so always there must be one balance. And if we teach something, but if we don't live it, it is empty spirituality. You know, I think today young people, first of all, I think it is needed to have trust in own soul, in own spirituality, own feeling of life. Young people is positive people. You are growing, developing, and you like all what opens the possibility of life. It is always peace, something constructive. So that is, first of all, to have faith in own power, in own positivity of your person, I think. And then normally, peace is skillfulness. First of all, communication, to learn communicate with people, remove fear from own person, and to learn how to remove first of all, fear in communication with other people, and also peace is skillfulness. There are so many today developed methods of negotiation. For example, how to meet one Christian and Muslim, that, you know, different experiences, different types of behavior, you know. We have to learn it and be very careful in meeting, for example, one Muslim woman, that we have normal communication, give hand or not. And so that is, I think it is needed. No, it is. But always, I say always it is important to practice, Life is, first of all, practice, and have enough spirituality for the practice. So today, normally I think that today, also children, all people, we have to be educated for peace, for non-violence in parent house, in schools, in religious communities. So that is something, but also we have to have specialists. I think that we have to have peace research institutes. So if in faculties we have so many different institutes, and it is very important. We have to have also experts for peace, so organizations for peace, so that is the way of contemporary life. So in politics also, I think also all politicians should visit one seminar for peace. We organize, Amrad, you know, many seminars for politicians and for artists, for different people, and it was very successful. So that is very peace work must be very systematical. So Amra,
I think that would be enough. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Friar Ivo. And we are honored, as always, to listen to you. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We have now break 45 minutes, and then at 8 o'clock, we will get in our last session on this program. Friar Ivo, čuvaj nam se.
Thank you. And so, Brian, if you send me the addresses, or I can some links of some movies about Pontanima, also conversation with me, I can send it to you, or if you have interest, something more. And so
we will certainly connect you. I have a list of all the participants. There's also quite a few more who, because of the time of day, haven't been able to be here. So that's why we've been recording these. So we'll be sending links to the recordings and also include your email address and the other speakers, so that way they can get connected to you. And we would love you, I'll point it out to you to make sure so you can respond and share some of those things from Pontanima, because everyone would love
we have Facebook group, so when Friar Ivo send it, we can share, no problem.
Okay. You have Facebook groups. Okay, I can put it there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Friar Ivo. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the wisdom and everything you've shared with us. We are so grateful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Živ bio Ivo.
Goodbye.
Čujemo se, vidimo se. Bye.